is Pastor Kayla. I am here with Christian Kavanagh, and we are not here with you today. Christian is killing it at MIT, hopefully. You leave this Saturday?
Yes, this Saturday, and I'll be at MIT for 6 weeks.
That is so exciting. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I am not having as much fun, but I am in Houston for a birthday trip for my daughter. And so we wanted to make sure that you all had an opportunity to hear from us about our experience at annual conference. And so we are going to kind of answer a couple of questions that were presented to us, starting with what we found interesting or surprising about our time at annual conference.
So I guess I'll answer this one first. What I found surprising was sort of the average age for Methodists in our conference. I think the number I heard was 58, but it is a figure around there. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think it does sort of demonstrate how we as a conference ought to sort of focus efforts on reaching out more to the younger generation. I think we're doing that, but it definitely needs something. It's definitely one of those things that does need a bit more further work done. So
Absolutely. And I think what's neat about that is that our conference has been putting in work and making efforts to reach out to the younger generation. But on the other side of that, what's really cool is I had never heard the phrase cradle anything. And Cradle Methodist is a thing. There are people, especially when you're at annual conference, a lot of the individuals that you meet, they will say that they have been Methodist their entire life. And so that journey and commitment of faith is also really cool to watch. And I think it's something that the younger generations could be impacted by. So I would agree with that as well.
Absolutely.
I think for me, my first annual conference was last year as disaffiliations were happening. And it was heavy and it was really hard. And so I didn't have any expectations going into it this year, but I was very pleasantly surprised to feel this sense of hope and joy and excitement about what is to come and the future of the UMC. And so there wasn't a lot of sadness, which was great. And it was exciting and fun. So I liked that. So what did you learn about the UMC?
So I learned just how many committees and agencies and groups there are that are doing the administrative side of things. And this isn't just at like the annual conference level. This is also at the general conference level and even at like the district and local church level. There are just so many committees, so many of these groups that do administrative work. And I think you were going to speak a little bit to this, but it does leave a lot of opportunities open for laity at the local level and even clergy at the local level to do some work.
Yeah. I think that's always a surprise for me. And something that I think I'm constantly learning is that there's so many ways to get involved in the United Methodist Church and specifically in our conference that I don't think people understand. And so I have made friends with a young lady in Springfield who is wonderful. Her name is Cheyenne. And I had no idea that she was stepping into a lay leader role more on a conference level. And so just being reminded of that and seeing so many friends and colleagues from lay to clergy that are getting involved and connected and serving in really cool ways, I think is really neat.
Absolutely.
So I like that a lot too. So did God show up for you at annual conference?
I would say so. And I'd say the biggest way was at the ordination ceremony. This was the last day of conference, and it was in the morning. It was a more traditional service, and part of that is because it is ordination, you're bringing new people to the clergy, and you're kind of continuing this sort of line of succession of clergy from the beginning of Methodism to now. And so naturally it is going to follow sort of this traditional way of doing things, traditional customs. And also it was like an ecumenical thing as well, because they did bring the Roman Catholic Archbishop of St. Louis there.
So cool.
And I thought that was cool because not only is, like the state of Missouri, the United Methodists of the state of Missouri sort of are it's not just that they're all coming together to bring new people to clerical leadership in the conference, but you're also bringing other Christians from other groups into the ceremony to share in this. And I think it was really awesome that there was so much unity in this ceremony and really so much passion for the work that these new leaders are going to be doing in our conference.
Absolutely. I love that. That's really good. I think for me, the connectional aspect of being a part of the UMC is something that is really powerful to me. And so in my journey through candidacy and licensing last year, because it wasn't your standard, it wasn't quick for me. It took about a year because of the way things played out. And so I've met so many people And so getting to go back and check in on people has always been like a thing that has been really special, I think, for me at annual conference. And this year, there were just so many people that were like discerning and in places where they were trying to figure out their next steps. And I think this year I got to see God move through people, really, and their ability to step towards something. So several friends that were ordained or were made provisional, meaning they've got this 2-year period that they're working on things before they become ordained. And so watching them take that next step. I had a friend who completed licensing school. I got to sit down with interns that the conference has brought in that are young people that are trying to discern and figure out their call and what comes next. And so that excitement and that joy that comes from that, I think, is contagious. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like for me this year, it was definitely seeing God in people and people in such different parts of their life, right? Another friend was like, hey, I was at these churches, things didn't go well. And so I am now in this discerning period as to what comes next because he's licensed. And so he is currently licensed with, like, he does not have a license if he's not in a local church. Mm-hmm. But there wasn't this sense of sadness. Sure. It was this excitement about, I feel called to ministry and I'm reimagining what that looks like. Yeah. So that, I mean, it was very neat to see God moving in so many different ways and so many different people.
Absolutely.
So I loved that. All right. So what is all of this, all the things you learned this week, what does that mean for St. Paul's?
So what I think it means for St. Paul's is that we really are part of this connection of United Methodist Churches. We really are part of something much bigger than just the local church. And that's a good thing. You know, we are one key part of doing the transformative work to make the world a better place within the context of the teachings of Jesus Christ. And I think it's awesome that we get to be part of that.
I love it. That's really good.
Thank you.
I think for me, what I've taken from annual conference was this reminder that we're still united. Mm-hmm. We are still here. We chose not to leave, and there are lots of people that chose to remain as well. Mm-hmm. And we are doing our best to show up for one another and show up for our congregations. And that means, one, that we have work to do, mm-hmm. But we have exciting work to do in reminding people that there is space for everyone. And I think that's my hope. The theme at annual conference, something that was said over and over again, was you belong, mm-hmm. and that you is anyone that walks through our doors. Yeah. And so that reminder that we are creating space for people that are hurt, that we are creating space for people that are excited, that we are creating space for people that are marginalized, and that we are creating space for people that are struggling to figure out where their beliefs and their values and their hurts and their hang-ups, where that all kind of collides with their faith. And so I think St. Paul's, we've got work to do, mm-hmm. and we are really excited about the work that we get to do.
Absolutely.
And we hope that you enjoy. I am sure that everyone else has wonderful thoughts on annual conference. But in our absence, being the two youngest, just by a couple of years, we wanted to make sure that we shared our thoughts with you as well. And we'll see you soon.
Indeed.